Hey everyone, and welcome today to the first video of a series of educational videos on personal finances. Today we're going to start with a basic financial model for our personal finances based on the cash flow of a family. And by cash flow I mean everything that gets in and out of our bank account throughout the month. For today's video I have created a spreadsheet that you can download from the link below. I have been using a more advanced version of this spreadsheet for years, adjusting it to my personal situation as I was switching jobs or updating it as necessary based on my cash flow situation throughout the years. So, if you want to go ahead and download the spreadsheet, feel free to do so by clicking in the link below in the description. As I said, this is just the first video of this series and it is going to be a very basic introduction. The idea is that once you feel comfortable with this model and adjust it to your personal situation, we will be adding new fields in the future, making it more complex to account for other scenarios. Now, before we start, I do not want to get distracted with these colored cells over here. We will get to that in a moment. To start, though, I would like you to focus your attention to the upper left corner of this spreadsheet. When I prepared this spreadsheet for this video, I did it assuming a household with two incomes, hence person 1 and person 2 over here indicated. If there are more or less income sources, you can adjust that and simply add or delete information as needed. All of these numbers here under column B are the income for the household, but it is the net monthly income, not the gross income, not annual. It is important that you get familiar with your paycheck and know what your monthly net income is and use that number in these cells. If you are paid weekly, bi-weekly, twice a month, or in any other form that is not monthly, just do a simple math to find out how much your net income is in a month. Keep in mind though that this amount will be added here and it does not include any bonuses that you may get from your employer. Most bonuses are not paid on a monthly basis, so I did add a different field for that and we will discuss that later, just in a moment. For now, add your monthly net income in these two fields, if it's two people, and then we can get started. I have previously filled out these cells over here with some random numbers to get a head start, but you should use your own numbers so that you get an exact picture of your own situation. Now let's take a look at the biggest section of this spreadsheet, the monthly expenses section. The first line item is the mortgage, which could be instead the rent if that's your case. In terms of the number that we have here, it may or may not include also the home insurance or the private mortgage insurance. If you're paying everything together to your lender, then you can just put the final number in here, or you can just have a different line item for each one of them if you're paying them separately. If you have any life insurance expenses, they would go here. This line over here in row number 5, grocery expenses. So anything that you spend on grocery shopping every month would be here. Transit, what you spend on bus, what you spend on subway. So any mobility that you need in your town would be here. Then your investments in retirement. So if there is a 401k plan or any other sort of employer-sponsored retirement plan, so whatever you're adding to your plan every month would be included in here. And if you have any other investments like contributing to your own retirement plan, or maybe you are investing in the stock market, that number will go here. Whatever you spend on utilities every month, that means electricity, natural gas or propane, water, sewer, that expense would go in this line. Then for cell phone expenses, whatever you pay for your cell phone plans on every month, that would be the number that you include in here. Internet expenses, leisure expenses over here, that would be basically the amount of money that you spend every month on things like going out to restaurants, going out to the bar, maybe even a theme park, anything that you do to have fun. That would be the expenses that you want to indicate under leisure. Healthcare expenses, So if on average you know how much you're spending on healthcare, you can include the number here. If you know how much you're paying for premium every month, that could be also added in here. I know this is a tough number to get because we don't know when we're gonna get sick, but we have to think about our average based on our history. If you have a home security system, how much you're paying to the company to monitor your alarm, and reserves for home. Well, in this case, we will only be applying this line item for homeowners. The good rule of the thumb here is to save about 1% of the value of the house on an annual basis for potential repairs to your home. This 1% applies to most homes in the US as a general rule, but it will largely depend on where you live and with the kind of construction of your home. For instance, if you have a house made of wood frame in a place with harsh weather, your maintenance will probably be higher than a concrete house in the Mediterranean coast. The next line item would be streaming services or TV. So if you're paying for cable separate from internet, if you're paying for any streaming services, that's the amount of money you want to include here. Now, car expenses. That would mean any garage or parking that you pay to park your car, whether it's at home or at work. The car insurance that you pay, whether you have one car, two cars, that doesn't matter, that would be the total amount that we want to put here for a monthly average expense on the car insurance. The same for the gas for your car and the car maintenance. Now, this car maintenance, this is something that you have to do some math around. And the reason is that every single situation is different. If you have a Maserati, you will probably spend more on maintenance than someone that has a Hyundai or a Kia. You have to think about maintenance appointments. That means, any oil changes, air filters and the like, some potential repairs depending on the age of your car, especially if it's not under warranty, change of tires and things like that. So I used 200, thinking about potentially about $2,400 a year for car maintenance, but your situation may be different. So if that's the case, just include the number that works best for your individual situation. Okay, so once you have included all of your expenses, you just need to look up here and you have your monthly savings already filled out in the cell H2. If you need to save more, try adjusting your expenses on the left and make those adjustments to your daily habits. For instance, what about that $4 coffee you drink every morning? Is that really necessary? Do you need to spend $500 in restaurants every month? With this spreadsheet, you will be able to quickly see where you spend the most and those expenses that are required and those expenses that can actually be reduced so you hit your goal every month. In future videos, I will address those unnecessary expenses and how can we reduce them drastically. For now, if we continue looking down, you will see I have also included a section for bonuses. Some people get bonuses, most do on an annual basis, some do quarterly, and I don't know about anyone who gets a monthly bonus, but anyway, wherever is your case, you can indicate the annual bonus you expect to receive from your employer here. The calculation in the next cell below will gather all the information from the monthly cash flow plus any bonuses that you may get. It will also consider your annual vacation expenses, which you may indicate in the cell K8. If we'll look at the formula of this cell that calculates the annual balance, you will see that the bonuses are multiplied by 0.65. This 0.65 is just a placeholder for the taxes to be paid in the bonus. If you know the exact bonus net income that you will receive post-tax, you can delete this part of the equation and just indicate the net income from bonuses above. Otherwise, if your tax bracket is different from the one that I'm indicating here, just modify the 0.65 to reflect your personal situation. Lastly, do not forget that one of your expenses is actually not an expense, but just a movement of your money to a savings account or whatever instrument that you decide to use. I'm talking about the reserves for the home. whatever percentage you decide to save, it is actually within one of your bank accounts. So, while what we see in the annual report balance section in the cell H12 is the available money you have saved at the end of the year, the number of total annual savings under K14 is showing the available money to do exactly whatever you want with it, plus the money that you set aside for home repairs so that you are ready when they come. And also, if you have a savings account or any other account to invest other than the savings for your home, that would also be considered here. As you can imagine, this spreadsheet can get very complex with additional fields that would look, for instance, into your future situation for retirement. But I think that for today, I have already shared a lot of information. Now, it is your turn to download the spreadsheet, fill it out with your own information, and start improving your awareness of your own finances and find ways to improve it or save for a specific goal. I have previously shared a similar version of this spreadsheet among my network, and after several years they are all still using it, so I hope that you also find it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe and provide some comments down below. Enjoy!